Do you believe that you are part of black culture?
I believe I'm a part of the Jamaican culture.
Hey guys, welcome back to That Liminal Period. It's your girl, Chun-Li Shoddy. Today, I want to have a conversation around race and culture. I know the topic of identity politics has become way too prevalent in everyday conversation. However, because it is prevalent, I think it's really important for us to understand the differences between race and culture. Because people here, especially in America, are starting to use it interchangeably. And I don't know when this happened or when it started, but I'm here to clear it up. Okay, so anyways, and maybe it's not me. Maybe actually I need to give credit to White Yardie, because that's who we're going to be watching in today's video. If you guys aren't familiar, White Yardie is a white Jamaican comedian, and he's received some pushback from the black community as far as him being Jamaican. So without further ado, let's hear some of his experiences.
Do you believe that you are part of black culture?
I believe I'm a part of the Jamaican culture.
Okay.
What's the difference to you?
The difference to me is that what is the black culture, you cannot just define black culture as black culture because it varies. I relate with the Jamaican culture because it's a culture that I grew up in. You know, we have black British culture, so that's a different thing. But to me, black British culture is a merge of like Jamaican, Caribbean, and Africa and England together. That makes the black British culture. That's what I would say. But I cannot define in one sentence to say this is black culture because it's.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
So before we get to the first question, I'm actually going to chime in and just provide some context. I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but this conversation is had on a UK-based podcast. And so, first of all, just know that, okay? So that's why he's referencing the differences between the variety of cultures that black people might have. Because again, there is a diaspora of different type of black people. Someone from Ghana is not going to identify the same way as someone from Guyana, not as someone that is from South Africa, okay? So you can't just say, do you identify as being black? Or do you identify yourself as being a part of the black culture? Because there is no one black culture. However, Jamaica is a country, okay? And he is from Jamaica. And so the culture of Jamaica, the ethnicity of being Jamaican, he identifies as.
When did you decide that you were Jamaican? Was it when you came back over here? Was it when someone asked you, like, was there an experience where you just felt, I identify as a Jamaican man?
Let me explain to you there. And I don't know if I've ever said this on an interview anywhere yet, but my mother, before me, she had a miscarriage. So when she was pregnant with me, she could have gave birth to me in Jamaica.
Right.
But where we live, the hospitals weren't great. So obviously she has that opportunity to leave. Once she had me and did the checks, 3 months on a plane back to Jamaica. So from there until what I know has been that.
Jamaica.
So it's not like I wake up one day and say, oh, 5-year-old, I'm want to be Jamaican. Oh, 10-year-old, I think I'm Jamaican. 12-year-old,
Okay, cool.
I'm definitely Jamaican.
Yeah.
It's just what's inside. You understand what I mean, brother?
To call yourself a Jamaican, that's interesting because you said that you weren't born there. But I guess if the community to which you kind of were raised in, which is Jamaica, obviously, if they've embraced you, the large swaths of them and stuff, and if you've got citizenship, I don't know if you have, but yeah, from where I come.
Harry, do you have
Citizenship. So, sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut him off, but he does have a Jamaican passport, okay? But citizenship is just a legal document, okay? That is nationality. That's why I say all of these are actually social constructs, okay? Because you can have multiple nationalities. You can have dual citizenship. You can be a citizen of Vietnam as well as a citizen of the US, okay? So that is just nationality. First of all, culture is everything that you, like, it's everything. I don't know if you guys noticed, but when the young guy asked White Yardie, like, when did you identify? Or when did you decide that you were Jamaican? And he said, it's everything inside. It's every day. That's all I know. It's because culture is the history. It's the background. It's the people. It's the social constructs and hierarchy around you. It's everything, you know? So it's like, that is That's culture. Like, actually, let me see if I can pull up a textbook definition to make it a little bit more clear. Boom, you guys can see it here. Culture definition: the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. Second definition: the customs, arts, and social institution and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group. Caribbean culture was the example, ironically. To the Wikipedia definition, culture is a concept that encompasses the social behavior, institution, and norms found in human society, as well as the knowledge, belief, arts, laws, customs, capabilities, and habits of individuals in these groups. Culture is often originated from or attributed to a specific region or location. Okay, yeah, so I don't know if they don't truly understand what culture is, but it is ingrained in you.
I do.
So I find it interesting as well, because how do you decide? White Yardie, I'm from Jamaica. My grandparents are from Jamaica.
Yeah.
My dad's born there. My mum was born here. You probably would know more about Jamaica than me, just because I'm black now. No one, if I said I'm Jamaican, no one's going to question me. It is, you're just Jamaican.
Exactly.
But you probably know how to cook yard food. You know how to do all
That's
of that
life.
better than me. So then, who are we to tell him? Actually, no, you're not Jamaican. Just
So I'm so glad that she said that, because who are you to question him? In the most recent video I shared, where black conservatives were talking with black liberals as far as how black people can be racist and how they can define or exclude another group of people simply because they're black. This is it right here. This is the real life example. People aren't going to question her when she says she's from Jamaica, despite her and her parents all being from the UK. It's because she's black. Because a lot of people assume that Jamaica is a black nation.
because he's white.
Is I went to school in Jamaica, so when
I
people
appreciate
are,
her pointing out the fact
when
that
people
it's
here
race.
are talking
It
about,
was
oh,
race
you
that they
cannot
would
represent the
question him.
culture, you're not from Jamaica, you're not this, like that, you know nothing about the black culture. And I'm like, you were born here, you were raised here, you went to school here. That means if you went to school for like, how long do you go to school when you're here? Like what?
Too long.
How many years? Just say like 12 years or
Well,
something.
yeah, about that. Yeah.
So 14 years. Realistically, they only taught you, what, 14 months of black history. My whole schooling was black history. So I learned everything about the culture. So when I'm in school, we don't have a month to say this is white history month, because we have to accept that white yardie. I don't care about that. I'm there to learn, and I'm not even there to learn. I'm just going with what I know is life.
Would you say that someone like White Yardie is culture appropriating?
No, not at all. I think that, you know, not least
I'm
because
so
he
happy
actually
she
has
said
some connection
no,
to
but-
many of these parts of the world, but he clearly doesn't have intentions to denigrate, to humiliate, or to make a particular culture inferior in the eyes of the majority of society. He's clearly doing it from a sense of appreciation and a sense of sharing love, and I think that that is something that is positive. But
I guess her final conclusion is correct in the fact that no, who he is as a person is not cultural appropriation. However, I feel like the way that she is justifying or backing up how she got to her conclusion is weird. Like her saying that him being himself, sharing his culture, is him just showing appreciation. Like, I guess, like, the way that she framed it up, it makes it sound like he is just someone that is appreciating the culture, but is not actually a part of the culture. And so therefore, even though he's sharing the culture, it's not appropriation. I'm not sure if that makes sense, right? But I'm gonna rewind it and you guys tell me if I'm completely tripping, okay? But does it sound like she's othering him in this very response of hers?
I'm just going with what I know is life.
Would you say that someone like White Yardie is culture appropriating?
no, not at all. I think that, you know, not least because he actually has some connection to many of these parts of the world, but he clearly doesn't have intentions to denigrate, to humiliate, or to make a particular culture inferior in the eyes of the majority of society. He's clearly doing it from a sense of appreciation and a sense of sharing love, and I think that that is something that is positive.
But White Yardie, Harry, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and I think that you've been a very valued member of this panel. Also, after the break...
We just clapped.
I know, for the white man. Pep your cheeks for the white man. After the break, we'll be joined by the gorgeous
Yeah,
rapper,
Yardie,
Miss
I'm feeling you.
Banks.
So I'm not sure if you guys caught his reaction, but I feel the same way. Like, I don't know why, again, they're interjecting race into the conversation, because he's so clearly sure of himself and know that he is Jamaican, not necessarily black. And like, that's why I said I was looking for this entire podcast, because I wanted to hear the full context of the conversation. I wanted to know, again, like, where do they stand and what is their angle? Because for me, it seems very ironic that a whole bunch of UK-based black British people are sitting here telling a Jamaican person that they cannot be Jamaican purely for the fact that he is white. As I was digging into this conversation, again, because it's happened several years ago, I wanted to see if there was any new update. So I didn't find much, but I did find a more recent video where he sat down with Jesse Lee Peterson, and he talked a little bit more about the differences between culture appreciation and him being a part of the culture. Let's get into it.
In America, they accuse white people of trying to, when they think they're whites, are trying to act black or wear braids and all that, they accuse them of cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
Have you ever been accused of cultural appropriation?
Every day of my life.
Really?
Yeah, every day of my life. It comes across, and it goes back down to lack of education. And for me, there's a difference with culture appreciation and culture appropriation. Now, the thing about it is, you can appreciate somebody else's culture if you want to.
Right.
You can enjoy someone else's culture. You understand what I mean? Like, you can, if you want to cook Caribbean food, you can cook Caribbean food.
Right.
You don't have to be from the Caribbean to cook the food. If you learn to cook it the right way, you can cook it and enjoy it. If you enjoy it, if that's what you like that. Do you understand what I mean? Now, the problem is, I feel like when you have people who take something from someone else's culture and almost try to make it theirs, like, I am this person, I am the one, it's me, then that is a bit more of culture appropriation, because now you're taking something from somebody else's culture for yourself to gain from it, and they're not getting nothing from it.
But don't you think it's silly for people to be fighting over culture? If somebody want to eat greens and ham hock and they white and they like,
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. There's a
shouldn't
different
even
level.
bother.
Yeah,
It
there's a
shouldn't
different
bother
level of it.
anyone.
There's a different level of
Levels
it.
to
When
it.
you go to like hairstyles, for me personally, if somebody has a hairstyle, you have a hairstyle.
Right.
It shouldn't really matter if that's from this or that.
Right.
It's a hairstyle.
Yeah, it's
But
just
long
a
as you're not
hairstyle.
insulting the people are as they say, insulting them or making fun of their culture while doing these things, then I don't see no problem with it.
why are most people so easily insulted?
Because we're living in a sensitive world these days as well. You have to understand. As a comedian, I know we're living in a sensitive world.
When you get that example of having a white parent and a black parent and how that felt, have you ever felt not fit in anywhere? It felt like
All
you
the
didn't fit
time.
in?
I always feel like I don't fit in because of people's judgments against me sometimes. But the only time when I do feel like I'm fitting is when I'm around the people, like my friends, and Jamaican friends and that. So there is times where I don't feel fit in, but
What's that feeling like?
I
What's
don't
that
care.
feel like?
I actually don't.
Can you describe that feeling? What that feel like?
I don't care, no. I used to care.
Right, where you used to care about.
Yeah,
what did
it's not nice because, you always get looked on as not worthy enough to be involved in certain things or be a part of something. So you feel like, what? But I learned over time that to disregard that's the least. That doesn't matter to me.
That's right.
What matters to me is the ones who do care and do embrace, do like me and I do fit in with. Stick to what you fit into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When a white person is born here as Jamaican and they're out there and they're touring different places and they're exposing Jamaica, whether or not there might be innate privileges in terms of how it is that international people or even our own Jamaicans react to those videos, the truth is we see them as Jamaicans first, right? Because them born a yard. Now, this is where I have a challenge, because most of the criticism that is coming about how it is that we embrace these Jamaicans that are of different races comes from Black America, right? And my problem with Black Americans, Jamaican living in the diaspora, Jamaicans who were born, mostly Jamaicans who were born in America, is that I hate the way Black Americans believe that their experience ought to dictate how blacks everywhere else in the world experience the world. Right? So your Black American experience ought to dictate how blacks everywhere else experiences the world. And that is crap, quite frankly. Right? That's stupid for you to expect that. We are not going to minimize and trivialize the challenges that you have as a Black American, but we don't have those same challenges. And yes, there are issues in Jamaica such as Eurocentric ideas of beauty being standard in schools, whereas Afrocentric ideas of beauty are heavily tabooed, and I'll make a separate video for that. And no doubt that is a derivative of slavery. We experience colorism, but in terms of racism, right, and colorism is a derivative of racism, but in terms of direct racism, it's not something that we're necessarily going to be able to relate to. And so our experience to events that you might see as being racially oppressive or in a way making you disadvantaged as black people, we're not going to see it that way. And let me give you 2 examples, right? One is when Adele wore a Jamaican colored bikini to the Caribbean Festival. I think it was in London or Birmingham or somewhere, right? And Black Americans in particular were like, yo, cancel Adele. That is cultural appropriation. While Jamaicans who were born and raised a yard, boop, boop, yo, Adele, our girl. Yeah, because we saw it as embracing and showing love for our island. And we don't care who you be. Once you embrace and love our island, we like it. Once you're not misrepresenting who we are as a people, and it is just, we see it as embracing who we are, or embracing your love for our island or love for Jamaican people. So we were all here like, Adele, a girl, give Adele a passport, Adele a Jamaican right now. Same thing happened a few years before that when Volkswagen did an ad for the Super Bowl and they had a white guy. And in that video, the white guy spoke patois. Now let me tell you, it says, Yardie, if you butcher our language and butcher our patois, big problem. We have a problem if it is that you misrepresent how we speak. But that white boy did a really, really good job of talking like a Jamaican. And so of course we were like, yo, get a white boy them passport, get a white boy them passport, because we thought he did a good job. We saw it as flattery. Quite a different reaction than was had by the Black Americans who thought that they should cancel him. Now, when Jamie Oliver talked about jerk rice, then of course all of we did join with Black America and everybody else to say, yo, Jamie Oliver cancel the boy them. Because jerk rice, hello? If you're going to talk about jerk, make jerk be jerk, right? So we thought that was cultural appropriation because it was a misrepresentation of our culture.
See, I had to share her video because I know in the previous clip we were talking about the differences between cultural appreciation as well as cultural appropriation. So I appreciate her so much for sharing 2 examples in ways where Black Americans or Black people in the UK, and I would just say that, okay, it's not just Americans. I think and I don't think it's just Black Americans. I think Westerners, people who have that modern Western mindset are just so easily offended. And you've seen this on other videos of Dr. Phil, right? Where there was like a white guy and he was wearing like a sombrero and a mustache. And it was Black people and white people that were mad on the behalf of Hispanic community.
Do you think my outfit is offensive?
Are you Mexican?
No.
Yes.
I think it reaffirms stereotypes that are offensive to people.
You think people really think Mexican people are like this and carry around marachas?
No, I don't think people actually think that.
Do you find my outfit offensive?
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
Because it's not your culture. You don't really understand what their culture means and what it means to wear these things, like the hats and the maracas. You know, you sort of have to understand where all of this comes from for it to not be cultural appropriation.
Can I just ask you, do you like my costume?
I like your mustache.
Do you?
Mostly.
Does my outfit offend you?
You look, no. You look nice.
Thank you. Do you like my costume?
Yes.
Does it offend you?
Es ofensivo?
No.
No,
nothing. That's good.
Sí. Mi guapo?
This is beautiful.
Beautiful. Acabo. Are you guys insulting me?
No, it's not.
Insulting me in Spanish? Do you like my outfit?
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Does my outfit offend you?
No, not at all.
Some people get offended by what I'm wearing.
No, it's not. It's not offensive. I think it's you're in the right atmosphere.
Yeah. I think it's a Western mindset thing as far as them just being so easily offended.
No, our experiences have and our reactions to the same events have been vastly different, and it really has been based on how it is that our post-slavery history would have had an impact on us. It's not that we love white Jamaicans more than we love our black diaspora. It's just that we don't have that sufferer's mentality. We don't walk around constantly a victim. Most Jamaicans see themselves as being able to achieve anything they want to achieve. And money our problem, right? Money our problem. That's our Jamaican problem, of money. Money our problem. But we don't believe so if we have the money, we can do what everybody else can do. We have never felt limited by our race. We've never felt limited by our race. And I believe that if you're going to go out there and talk about Jamaicans and brand Jamaicans in Jamaica as a group of people that think a particular way, you at least owe us the respect of really trying to understand why it is that we don't think the way that you think.
Overall, I hope I've been able to add a little bit more context as far as the conversation between race and culture, because race it's really silly at the end of the day when we talk about it, because not all Asian people are alike, not all white people are alike, not all black people are alike. And that's why the conversation and the race war that we have here in America, and it's so silly. And again, not just America, but in the West, because I know that they're seeing the same issues in UK. I've had some commenters mention that they're seeing some of the modern day problems in the UK as well. Their family are from the Bahamas and Caribbeans and came during the wind rush, okay? I've had people in Canada say the same things. So just to wrap up the conversation, I don't necessarily think it's a Black America thing. I don't think it's a Black UK thing. I do think it is just a Western mentality issue as far as the way that we are dividing and segregating people based on immutable traits. Anyways, I've enjoyed this conversation. I hope you guys did too, and I look forward to speaking with you guys next time. Bye.